Warriors, my friends, my extended family, welcome to another important video on my channel. Thank you so very much for joining me today. My friends, yes, The Essential Guide to Health Anxiety, my fourth book, is now out on Amazon, and you can pick up your copy, either digital or paperback or hard copy, today on Amazon. Pick up this transformational book if in fact you or someone you know is suffering from health anxiety today. And friends, I've been thinking to myself lately, what do the warriors need to hear, right? And all of my videos are based on this intuitive sense that I get, that the message that comes across in these videos, in these podcasts, are things that the majority of anxiety sufferers need to hear today. And today is no exception, really, right? I believe that so much healing, anxiety healing, can be done through a deeper understanding from somebody who's been in your shoes. And today's no different, okay? I want us to get to a place today where we not only understand the anxiety that we're going through more and at a deeper level, but I want to share with you some very, very powerful ways that personally and collectively we can leave the world of anxiety starting today. This is my goal, okay? But let's understand society first and foremost, because society and the demands from society have a lot to do with us circling around back to an anxiety identity. Do you feel that within you? There's this feeling that society doesn't like that we no longer participate the same way we used to, right? For example, if you bring an anxiety identity to the world on a daily basis, or a fear-centered belief system, for example, society gets to know that person, gets to know that identity. And the feeling of no longer participating with that illusory, fearful way of living your life makes us believe that society will not approve of the changes that we are making in our inner world. For example, you're going to a Christmas dinner, right? And you've made all this inner progress, right? And your family's going to be there in the dinner, and you're going to present someone that is truthful, someone who is not conditioned to fear, but someone who lives in the state of inner peace. And there's a part of you, the ego or inner child, that's going, they're not going to approve of this new person, right? And so there's this hesitation to keep moving on the path that you are on, right? There's a hesitation. And then to justify this hesitation, we go, well, we don't have the skills, or we just can't keep going, or I'm afraid of the unknown, or I'll never do it because I don't have this person beside me or that person beside me. We justify this roadblock, but in truth, it's society's pressure to keep the old fear-based anxiety identity alive forever, right? This is something that must come to our attention, and we mustn't fall for the demands that society is unconsciously or consciously placing upon us in terms of our own change work, okay? This world, the world that you're living in and the world that I'm living in, is designed to make you hang on to everything. This is important, my friends, okay? Because we have this lingering sense within us that says, well, if I do go further along on this path of recovery and healing and moving into inner peace and happiness and joy genuinely, right, I may lose what I already have. Okay, I may lose that. I may lose the connection that I have with my kids because I have associated stress and worry and anxiety to having a firm bond with my own children, right? And so what's interesting is that we either knowingly or unknowingly associate anxiety to success, right? A certain degree of anxiety has gotten me to a place of becoming a wonderful mother or a great father or really high up in my career and financially, right? So we have associated a certain degree of anxiety to having that success, and we are afraid to lose that bond, that success, if in fact we take the path of healing anxiety. This should speak to you very, very deeply. Today, we have to reveal the truths, the underlying truths that we're afraid to reveal, if in fact we are going to heal ourselves from this fear-centered prison that we're living in, right? And so it's important to focus inwards and not what took place outwards, okay? As you're going through your day, it's not what's happening to you, right? It's not the energies that you're surrounding yourself with that is causing you to feel the way you no longer want to feel, okay? We must, you, me, become relentless at reminding ourselves that when something happens and we get a negative feeling within us that is anxious or whatever it may be, we must go inwards, right? And not blame outwards. Because if we continue to blame outwards, we're going to find that we start to associate the entire world to being unsafe. Right? We start to disconnect from the whole world when in fact healing is reconnecting with the whole world. Healing is understanding that all is one, right? When some narcissist comes to you and says, you know, or you get the feeling that this narcissist is trying to control you, dictate what you think and how you live your life and such, right? We have to understand that there's a piece of us in that narcissist, okay? Maybe not to the same degree as that person, but we must understand that there's a piece of us that is in that person. Therefore, we feel emotionally triggered when that person is around. You know, narcissists and these types of people, negative people that do trigger us, are the biggest blessings we will ever run into in our lives. Because how else can we reveal the very feelings and emotions that have been stuck within us all these years so that we can heal them once and for all? We have to understand that when something happens from the outside in and we feel something we don't want to feel, that's a blessing. Oh, I'm so blessed that I feel anxious. I'm so blessed that I feel fearful. I'm so blessed that I'm feeling angry right now, or a certain degree of guilt. Because now I know what still needs to be healed within me. The fragments that are still living in my mind, body, and spirit based on the traumas I experienced during childhood. This is such a beautiful mindset that you can carry with you starting today, my friends. And so this brings us to Samskara. We must connect with Samskara. And Samskara is basically the patterns of reactions and understanding the origins of those patterns, right? And so when we start to find patterns within us that keep coming up, that's Samskara. And we have to go, my goodness, I'm willing to become more curious over these patterns rather than continue to stuff them aside and run from them. My friends, when you get anxious moments, become more curious. Become more curious around the patterns that are leading to anxiety. Become like that child that you were way back when, right? Where you were filled with a sense of wonder when you didn't understand something. To some degree, we don't understand a lot of the anxieties that show up within us. But if we can apply this idea of wonder and curiosity towards those things. And if we can place an intention to say, I want to understand the depths of what it is I'm feeling right now and the patterns of reactions that I have, I promise you, your life is going to change, my friends. And so many people ask me, Dennis, what is my purpose to all? What is the purpose to life? What is the purpose? What is my purpose? Well, what I'm about to tell you may or may not resonate with you initially, but in time, you will start understanding that this can in fact be true for you. What is your purpose? You have one purpose, okay? Your purpose is to liberate yourself from the ego and the artificial programming that the world is under. That's it. That's your purpose. I don't think we realize how distracted we are in today's world, right? We are so very distracted. And there are so many rules and laws that are placed upon us that as we go through the day, we feel such a high degree of rigidity, a high degree of stress. We are basically tippy-toeing around each other on a daily basis, hoping that we don't make another mistake. That's not the way to move towards liberating yourself from the ego/inner child. No. It's up to you to understand that there's no such thing as a mistake. There's no such thing as a mistake, right? And so starting today, understanding anxiety as a whole, internally and collectively, what are some of the keys? Let's go into some of the keys, okay? Intuitively, I felt like I needed to project this message to you today, so please listen up right here. Key number one is stay above it all. Stay above it all. Always reconnect with the Godhead. And when I talk about Godhead, I'm talking about your higher self. I'm talking about your intuition. I'm talking about a part of you that is subtle in its responses to challenges, right? Because you'll notice the ego/inner child is very, very loud. Like, oh my God, they criticize me. What an a-hole, right? Right away, we're going into that state. Or, oh my goodness, what if your symptoms show up today at work? People are going to think that you're going crazy or weird in some way, right? What are you going to do about it? The ego/inner child is very, very loud. Whereas your intuition or your Godhead or your higher self is very, very subtle. Therefore, it's so important to understand which message am I following, right? Am I being guided by the ego/inner child, or am I being guided by my higher self? Which one is making the decision for me? So as you're going through the day, you need to stay above it all. More so staying above the interpretations of your ego/inner child, okay? When your ego/inner child detects a threat, you stay above it. When your ego and inner child detects something that may show up in the future that will cause you anxiety, you stay above it. You're always staying above it by understanding that there's another way to interpret what is about to show up in your life, okay? And that is higher self-thinking. When we go to the ego, that is replayed ideas. That's not even thinking, right? True thinking is following your higher self, is following the new identity that you are reconstructing in your life. That is actually thinking. So many people today think that they're thinking when in fact they're just replaying the same ideas coming from the ego/inner child. That's not thinking. So key number one is stay above it all, no matter what happens, okay? Key number two is avoid forcing the mind to become silent. Too many anxiety sufferers are doing this today. But rather see it as a skill that must be developed, okay? Silence in the mind is a skill, okay? Just because you go and do a meditation and you can't seem to stay silent in the mind, you've got all this mental chatter, good, because that's an opportunity to create enough awareness to say, okay, it's fine to have that, but I am practicing the skill set of silence. So I'm going to bring myself back here. If the mental chatter comes again, that's fine. I'm going to bring myself back here. So it's this constant back and forth until the subconscious mind and body understand that silence is the new default, right? It's not all this mental chatter, because the mental chatter is useless, completely useless, right? 99.9%, if not 100% of all my fears during my generalized anxiety, health anxiety, panic disorder, OCD, agoraphobia days never came true, right? But it sure gave me something to occupy my time, focus, and energy with, right? And we find that, as long as we're occupied with all this stress and anxiety, then we will be prepared for anything that shows up in the future. What a bunch of hoopla, right? Hoopla. So, yes, fear, stress, worry gives us something to occupy our time, focus, and energy with, but in fact, it's sucking the life out of you. It's sucking the present moment out of you, right? So again, avoid forcing the mind to become silent, but see silence as a skill set, okay? Skill set that needs to be developed. Key number 3 is spend more time alone. This is very important. Spend more time alone, getting to know the wisdom from your higher self, okay? This is key to anxiety healing, my friends, okay? Because it's that very wisdom that allows us permission to believe in something different than what the ego and inner child are telling us. The ego and inner child wants us to walk on eggshells, right? Tippy-toeing around the entire day just in case, standing guard to the next threat, right? Feeling tense at all times, connecting threat to people and situations that we encounter throughout the day. This is all illusory, okay? It's an illusion. It's a program. And just like the programs on your computer, these are the programs that must be deleted for good from your computer, and that's what you're doing. So spend more time alone with yourself, but never associating that feeling of being alone to loneliness, right? Just because you're alone and the volume of the world feels like it's turned down, understand that you're actually coming back into balance, right? Instead of looking for the next TV show or the next junk food, anything, dopamine, any of these stimulants, okay, from the outside to make you feel like you're living your life and having fun on the inside, right? Put all that aside. That's all ego and inner child. Spend time alone. Feel like the volume of the world is being turned down. Therefore, you are finding balance within you. Without this balance, you will never heal. Right? If you keep falling for your ego's interpretation of what fun and happiness is, you will never heal. Because to your ego, fun and happiness is something that is fleeting. It comes and goes. When you buy those new pairs of shoes, that's happiness. That's fun. Right? When you're getting together with all your friends and you're having some drinks together, that's what's fun. That's all ego. Right? But true inner peace and enjoyment come from making peace with yourself once and for all. Making peace with all the mistakes you made, making peace with the blame that you have for the world, letting go of the unforgiveness that you have towards yourself. This is when you actually start to have fun in this lifetime, during this life experience, my friends. This is it. I promise you that if something feels unfamiliar and it feels like the volume of the world is being turned down, most likely it's the exact direction you have to go to heal your anxiety for good. This is what I believe. The truth is, we've been acting. We've been playing a role all our lives in order to abide by the laws and demands of the world. Aren't you tired of acting? Aren't you tired of carrying around the mask that you believe will please others when in fact all you're doing is giving other people less permission to be their true selves? Aren't you tired of acting? Starting today, you can put down the mask. You no longer have to identify with someone who worries all the time. You no longer have to associate anxiety to having a certain degree of success in a certain aspect of your life. You can become someone that you haven't known for a very long time, right? And you can be free in that new identity. This is what I believe. Because living an anxiety-filled life is living an illusory-filled life. It's all an illusion, and you no longer have to be there, my friends. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. I'd like you to comment below and tell me what the biggest epiphany was from this video. And if you get a chance, pick up this transformative book, The Essential Guide to Health Anxiety, on Amazon today. It will change your life or anybody you know that is suffering from health anxiety. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Remember that you are more than anxiety. I'll see you soon.